Okay, we are here at the 2011 San Diego Vision Symposium, sponsored by the Discovery Eye Foundation. And we're with Dr. Paul Tornambe. Thank you, and welcome, Doctor.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask you a couple questions.
Sure.
How soon will there be a treatment for dry AMD?
Well, there's a lot of studies going on now in that area. When you look at the whole the population of people with macular degeneration, there are 10 times more people with dry macular degeneration than with wet macular degeneration. Industry understands this, and there are numerous clinical trials going on right now looking how to slow down and possibly even provide stem cells to treat dry macular degeneration. The wet macular degeneration market is a multi-billion-dollar market, and the dry field is 10 times that. So you can see that there's a tremendous financial incentive for industry to come up with something. As far as when's it going to happen, well, there are drugs right now that are in trials that are showing some positive results. There is a little capsule that they've inserted into the eye that they've programmed cells within that capsule to produce a substance to prevent degeneration of the retinal tissue.
Would that be a surgical procedure to
That would
implant?
be. It's called ciliary neurotrophic factor,
Okay.
CNTF. And actually, Kang Zhang, right here at UCSD, just published this data. And his results showed that vision was stabilized in 100% of patients that they got early. So if they got macular degeneration, I think the number was about 20/60 range. 100% of those patients did not lose 15 letters of vision. So that's really a tremendous thing. They also showed using OCT that the retinal nerve fiber layer and the retina thickened. So not only did it appear to prevent the progression, but it also showed that maybe there's some regenerative capacity.
Oh, that's exciting.
That's very exciting. The main drugs that they're looking at now, fenretinide would be one of them, is used to slow down the chemical process in the eye. The analogy might be, well, you're going to give a drug for heart disease to slow down the heart so it doesn't have to work as hard. In the same sense, these drugs slow down the chemical process because we know that with that chemical process, with aging, that there are metabolic waste products which the body, as you get older, isn't able to get rid of. And as these metabolic waste products build up, they actually destroy the cell, the retinal pigment epithelial cell. So the idea is if they can slow this process down, slow the chemical reaction down, that will at least slow down the deterioration. Now, there are going to be some side effects with that. One thing that patients have noticed is problems with dark adaptation, that they don't see as well at night, but all of this is reversible. Leave it to say that there are probably 20 or 30 drugs that are being looked at right now, and combination of drugs that are being looked at right now for the treatment of dry macular degeneration.
Now, those would be under FDA projects? Or,
these are in prospective clinical trials, phase 1, 2, and some in phase 3. The thing that everybody wants to know about is stem cells. Stem cells, stem cells, stem cells. And again, Kang Zhang at UCSD is a pioneer in this area. He actually, today, can take one of your skin cells or one of your hair follicles and grow your own retinal tissue. He can grow retinal pigment epithelial cells, he can grow ganglion cells, he can grow retinal cells. Now, this is very, very exciting. Others around the country have also been able to do this, not using embryonic tissue. Okay, that's really important because a lot of people have concerns about that. The other amazing thing is that because the cells are derived from your own stem cells or from your own skin cells,
Right.
there's no rejection.
Oh,
So there's
perfect.
not, so it isn't that, when you see other transplants, a heart transplant, for example, or a bone marrow transplant, one of the problems is the tissue gets rejected.
Right.
In this case, it's your own tissue. So this is a very, very exciting area. The question is how do we get these stem cells to know where to go? We can grow them now. We can start them along the track so that they get to the point that we know that they're going to evolve into retinal cells. How do we get them into the retina, underneath the retina?
And get them to be situated and grow and all
Exactly.
that.
So that's one area. The second thing that's very interesting is actually manipulating the genes. You can take a virus and you can have that insert into that virus. You make it so it isn't a harmful virus.
Okay.
It's a harmless virus, and you can put into that virus a gene sequence that will make a particular protein.
Okay.
Okay, that protein will, in some cases, be incorporated into a defective cell inside the eye, and then produce the good protein. Now, for
In
example,
effect, correcting the issue.
exactly, and this is in diseases like, for example, retinitis pigmentosa,
Okay.
which is a complex disease, and there are lots of different forms of it, and it's more than just one protein. But if we can find out which proteins are deficient, we can then make the gene that makes that protein, put it in a virus, inject it into the eye. That virus then will incorporate that protein into the patient's genetic sequence and then make up the deficit. Very exciting. The third area that is, I think, also very exciting is work Mark Humayun is doing up at USC Doheny.
Okay.
And he is working on a retinal chip that is actually inserted into the eye. It's placed on the surface of the retina. I think he's up to about 70 megapixels now.
Oh, so this is an electronic device.
This is an electronic device. And they've made great strides in this. Of course, they're working really with the rocket scientists. They're working with the Jet Propulsion Lab. So the rocket scientists are working on this project.
Wow.
Because it's huge, because it can truly restore sight to Stevie Wonder blind people.
So the trick of that would be marrying up the electronic device to the nervous system of the patient?
Well,
Am I right in that?
the patient, of course, has to have a functioning optic nerve, because
Okay.
that takes the information to the
Okay.
brain. At least in this case, why not forget about the eye entirely and have a
Plant
miniature camera go hook up directly to the brain and then circumvent the eye entirely.
Wow.
That actually, researchers have done that in animals, and that's also something that may have a great influence on things, but probably not for a decade or so.
I was just going to ask, that's a much longer time
right.
frame. Right.
But the implant that Dr. Humayun is working on is actually almost ready to be inserted in humans.
Wow.
And will be covered. They filed for coverage for Medicare.
Wow.
So this is going to be
So
something.
that's very close.
So they're very close to inserting those, and there are other places around the world that are also have this retinal chip technology with variations on theme and fugue. So
Now, is this retinal chip something that came out of the computer industry, or is this something specifically for this application?
it's specifically for this application. Dr. Humayun is an MD, PhD in electrical engineering, so he's got both.
He's bridging both worlds.
He bridges both areas, which that's what the future doctor is going to be. The future doctor, of course, we're going to need hands-on physicians, but this whole area of regenerative medicine, it's going to be blending of biologists, other scientists, geneticists, and electrical engineers to come up with these products.
That's great.
So those with dry macular degeneration, there are trials now. There are some positive results in these trials. The drug fenretinide has been around a long time. It's been used in other entities, so we think it's safe, and it may be something that will be out there within the next year or so.
That's great. Well, thank you, Doctor. Thank you very much for your contribution today in our interview and also to the symposium.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.